now. Secondly, we're live streaming this event. So this is shown all around the world. So people in Scotland, regardless of the Orange Order march today in Edinburgh, have an alternative of tuning into this, which is far more entertaining. I can show you. Very importantly as well is that this event will be in English, Welsh and Gaelic. And also, right, hoffwn i gyhoeddi yn dilyn y digwyddiad yma. Dyn ni'n edrych i symud pethau ymlaen yma yng Nghymru. We're looking to move things forward here in Wales after this rally. So, anybody who's interested to be a part of something bigger, then please come and see us at the end. Okay? We're also looking for people with different skill sets that could help us in Wales to achieve something that Scotland will be achieving next Thursday. Ac yn ola, dyn ni hefyd yn, dyn ni methu derbyn unrhyw cyfraniadau ariannol. We can't accept any donations, but we do have some badges and some merchandise on sale there. Get them on there. Okay, just so if you can go over to the desk, it's down here. I'm not sure if you can see it, but if you think badges worth 10 quid, then here there's 10 quid. Right. I'm going to start off. I'll be speaking first, then I'll introduce you to the other speakers that we have today, from Labour, Lib Dems, Plaid Cymru, Green Party. Brilliant. Which shows that this is a non-partisan event and just brings people together just to show Scotland how much this is important to us here in Wales as well. Felly, unwaith eto, croeso cynnes i chi i ddiwrnod pwysig yn hanes yr Alban ac hefyd i ni yng Nghymru wrth i ni'n dechrau eich taith cenedlaethol ni at annibyniaeth. A very warm welcome and a big Welsh croeso to you all today. On behalf of the organisers and the volunteers of Wales Support Scottish Independence, we would like to thank you all for attending today's event. Many more Welsh people would be here today, but hundreds, and I mean hundreds, are already in Scotland campaigning for Scotland's freedom. We'd also like to thank and acknowledge everyone who's given us advice and support during this Scottish referendum campaign so that Wales can give Scotland and her people our show of solidarity. Our biggest thanks goes to Scotland herself and the Yes Scotland campaign for showing the world what a positive, progressive and forward-looking nation can achieve in the face of profound scaremongering and the worst possible kind of state bullying by Westminster. Scotland, like Wales, is told by Westminster that she's too weak, too small, too insignificant to be a strong, independent nation. Well, we in Wales think, Scotland, you are already a strong nation. And we want you to become stronger, freer, and committed to the democratic ideals that you hold and that we share. Your history, social values and national character will see you through to a yes vote on Thursday, and I can guarantee you that. Dyn ni'n hyderus y byddwch chi o fewn yr wythnos yn wlad annibynnol ac yn llawn heiddi eich lle ar y llwyfan rhyngwladol. Westminster's constant doom and gloom, blatant threats and bully boy tactics has revealed to us once again its true nature. They have negatively campaigned against the democratic process and by doing so have shown us disdain for fair play and honest campaigning. Yeah. The Westminster objective is very, very simple. Its purpose is to 1. Keep the status quo at all costs. 2. keep her political establishment in Westminster in the manner to which they have become accustomed, and 3, to keep the people of Scotland and Wales and England and Ireland and Cornwall down. However, the British state machinery, with all of its power, will never conquer the will and determination of our nations. We believe, Scotland, that your nation will be free, more successful and more prosperous if you were an independent nation and that you could speak for yourselves on the international stage, rather than being represented by the London establishment. Scotland, this is our heartfelt message of support to you from Wales. O'n colonnau ni fel cenedl, i'ch colonnau chi, dyma unig ni. We want you to become the country you know you can be, free from the shackles of Westminster rule and their outdated conventions, elitist politics, and the same old partisan politics that have held the nations of these islands back for reaching their full potential. And importantly, on the very small matter of the first Welsh Minister, or the Welsh First Minister I should say, Carwyn Jones, his exploits in Scotland are not representative of how many of us feel in Wales. Carwyn Jones does not speak for the common man and woman in the cities, towns and villages of our nation. He has made his bed with the likes of Bitter Together and Project Fear. Scotland is one of the richest countries in the world, yet she has an unacceptably high level of poverty. Scotland has all the resources that she needs to invest in a fair, inclusive and progressive society. A great country, and a truly great country, measures itself on how it cares for the most vulnerable in its midst. In this sense, where the British state has failed, Scotland will succeed. Felly, dangoswch y ffordd i ni yng Nghymru, fel ein bod ni yn gallu torri pwys ein hunain ni yn y byd. Dangoswch i ni sut mae'n rhoi ffydd a hyder i'n cydwladwyr ni i liwio dyfodol ein hunain. Dangoswch i ni sut mae bod yn wlad hyderus, oherwydd mae'r gallu gyda ni yng Nghymru, fel unrhyw wlad Ewropeaidd arall, i lewyrchu o dan annibyniaeth. Scotland, your time is now. Seize the day. Catalonia will follow you in November and Wales eventually. You will show the world that small nations are sustainable, creative, progressive, and above all, fair. So Scotland, do it for us in Wales and do it for yourselves. Scotland the brave, be brave. Don't worry about us in Wales, we're right behind you. Love from Wales. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Iawn. Mae'n anrhydedd ac yn bleser i fi gyflwyno'r siaradwr nesaf sydd wedi dod y holl ffordd lawr o Glasgow heddi. Our next speaker has come down all the way from Glasgow this morning. Oh yes, on the megabus. His name is Jamie Wallace. He's a campaigner for the Yes Scotland campaign, and he's the Gaelic language coordinator. And I would like for you to give him our warmest welcome.
Like this reference na halapa. I guess have you Janu figure read your down. Cola V chorus Keher is Carstil million dunya million looked votai era. I guess Che Clar a hold. You know, we've got a record amount of voters out there this year. Almost 4.3 million people have registered to vote. That's 97% of those eligible to register. It's going to be one phenomenal turnout. Aberhorag erth y democracy. Agus hai ffyragraf gyfele. Yw'r ysach exciting yn dras dawn yn alba. O hai dyn efo catol, agus ha opar gylwyr a yenw ast. Agus marsian cael gitar. A fi fymolchach. So we can't be complacent. There's still a lot of doors to go knocking. There's still a lot of canvassing to do. There's still a lot of undecided to swing over to yes, but we're doing it. And we're doing it in the droves. And we're going to see a successful result. I am confident of that. So, Ashin and Coig line, that's in 5 days. That's in 5 days' time. Jamie and Coig line are asked, what about the last 5 days? Well, Asher Heat Cora Yugov, Hunig Shin Yerstig Westminster, na Mayan agus na Marketing, a Copper and Nai Alpa, and the Maim na Hanemacher. A Chualishin na Skulachten, Mies in the Rash, agus Shachkin in the Rash. So all these scare stories that we've been hearing in the last week, and this feeble attempt to trying to fear the people of Scotland into voting against being independent. We've heard it all before. It's new to you maybe, but we've been hearing it for the last few weeks and months. The stories aren't new. We've made up our minds. Postal voters have already made up their minds 2 weeks ago, including myself. So ha mi credu gyfil sy'n na dwi'n i glig agus gyfil sy'n a ffew yn drasau, ffew gwstiar dwi'n a chwyr cos paper votau agus ha mi credu gyfil democracy social to cervical. We will be successful. I'm confident of that. I've been confident of that for 2 years, but I'm even more confident now. So yeah, we were waiting for people to put their final crosses on the ballot papers. You know, Canachishyn eacher glwysid cwmor is ladjar od yn alpa, mar yn imers bechor ac yn drasta sy'n ioes o bloch na halpa. Hosich yn imersio, cor ystaf lina ras listúrig fo bechor alpa. Ac o chiawn blin a chwnig sy'n aharagig farinjach. Mi ger y cael, becer fig, gan a bwyning bechor unito. Agus y station, stocha mis no garas. Hai a do chyn a phoblich hen. So, han tam richach ac yn ye, sy'n laive ac yn hen. We are holding the future in Scotland in our hands. This started off as a framework, as a coordinated, organised movement from Yes Scotland. It grew from that to then moving into the villages and the towns, and you then started to see local groups prop up. Now the people have took control. Local organisations, local Yes groups were no longer in control because people were taking it in their own hands to get up off their backsides and to go out and let their voice be heard, because we will not be silenced. Shinam Smach, agus yn Cwch ac yn Nachtal Westminster, agus yn Meinen. Hanach gymi awn yn echter ein na halpa, nŵr a fes Cwch gysmach mar sy'n ec a phoblich. Mar sy'n canin gymbechor do galapa, yn Cwch agus smach a chwmol, agus gysyn a yenw, femisyn bechor votau. So yeah, this power and control that we currently have in our hands at this moment, that's what we're voting for on Thursday. We've never seen it in the likes of our Scottish history before. I doubt we'll ever see it again. So as a result, I urge every single person in Scotland that hasn't yet voted to just mark their ballot paper with yes, yes for Scotland. Agus a battle eile. Has sy'n hen a clwyf pars môr awn sy'n glwys y sio. ha national agus dúchan an international te mar Cymru a coet orin le eir. Agus ha sin tankle go takartas in Marsho and Jew agus han takartas in Mora an in Barcelona and Shakin Shaw. So I can express how thankful we are for this event to be taking place just days away from our vote for independence. I also have to say that the pictures coming over from Barcelona and seeing the solidarity for Scotland there has been impressive. This is a movement which we are all involved in. This is our time, our movement. So can intuitive go Catalonia agus can dal or a dovretenich a chorn agus na national eile. So I say go for it Catalonia, go for it Brittany, go for it Cornwall and go for it every other nation that wants self-determination. Muncher na Cymru, people of Wales, ha an brí acer ulich ó cúdramach, agus nuair a bhís an am kirst acer hen, bí síne an cólaring, an an undai noile, agus ha sulliar go bhfuil sin a cópar ma, an an cóobrachig mar skipa internationalta. We work great as a team, working and collaborating across borders, through the internet, meet social media. We are making new friends. We can do this together because using this power that we have created, this energy that we have, we will be able to do and achieve anything, I'm sure of it. So when the time is right, grab it with both hands. Tap alive, go for it Scotland. I guess tap Alasia. A huladunya and Shaw, Muncher na Cymru. Cymru, Gav in Corum, Gian Plana Ersten Yeos and Loch na Cymru, Breen Risa huladunya, als na Strachin is Balchin, Agus Clach and Glue social to a Haakin and Drasta. Wales, I want you to take this opportunity, create a plan for the future, which involves your independence. Speak to everyone on the streets and in towns and cities across this place. Wake them up from their slumber. And you will get there, just as we have got there. It took us 2 years. Cofatsa Westminster, Arnold Braceloch, Grumplata Efficature, Erson Tamrichach, Hami Kinchach, can be more in Corum in a chain hooker. Agus Heek and La. So grab this opportunity while Westminster is scurrying around like it doesn't know what it's doing. Use that opportunity to take what powers you can, because the time will come when you shall achieve your own independence. Gavin, Cora, McCashin, Dal Urra, take the opportunity and go for it, Wales. Yeah, Cymru! Jamie Wallace.
Iawn, y siaradwr gwadd nesaf, does dim angen rhyw lawer y gyflwyniad yna fe. The next person, who is a Labour councillor, the founder of CND Cymru, and a professional troublemaker, I would like to invite Ray Davies to come and take the mic. Ray, clap loud.
Comrades and friends, at least 15 people have said to me today, are you worried about your future? And I've said, no, I'm not worried about my future. I said I'm a loyal member of CND Cymru, I'm a loyal member of the Labour Party, but my loyalty, my real deep-seated loyalty, is to the people of Wales. Comrades, on the horizon there's a beacon of light. A beacon of light, and the world is watching. A beacon of light of freedom, justice and independence. And we must not, and we will not, let those people down, like Catalonia, and like Palestine, and people who are thirsting for their freedom. And comrades and friends, just remember this, 300 years ago, over 300 years ago, a Welsh prince was assassinated, an ambush, up at Kilmary, mid-Wales. And that was followed by Scotland, when they tried to drag Scotland into the Union. And the Westminster people and the English people tried to take our culture away from us, tried to take our language away from us. They tried to stop our children speaking their first language in their schools. And they called us a peasant nation. And I tell you what, if ever there was anything that gave a lie to that, it's this place up here. Because since we won our right to control our own lives for a certain part of our services, we have proved to the world that we are a long, long way from being a peasant nation, because we've been running our affairs exceedingly and passionately well. There may have been mistakes, and there will be mistakes, but that has given a life to it. Now, comrades, 3 years ago, just that, I first heard of Scottish independence. And everybody was laughing. And when the first polls came in, they said about 10%, 5%. And nobody took a blind notice up in Westminster. But what a transformation that's taking place at the present moment. They're up there today. Practically every politician that's worth his salt is up there today trying to persuade the Scottish people to vote no. And did you see that thing on the television where there was Cameron saying how much he loved the Scottish people, how much he loved the Welsh people? Please, please don't leave us, he was saying. Like a sort of lover who'd been disregarded and thrown to one side. But I tell you this, and I tell you sincerely, there was tears in his eyes. But those tears were not for the Welsh people and not for the Scottish people. Those tears was the fact that he's going to lose his place at the top table of that war machine called NATO. Wins its independence, the likes of me, the likes of Jamie, the likes of Leanne Woods, the likes of Jill Evans, Jill Goff and other people, no longer will we have to plank our backsides down in front of the gates of the Scottish fast lane submarine base, because it will be gone. And there will be no need for us to do exactly the same thing outside that bomb factory. Because I tell you this, the millions of pounds that we'll be saving, that we will be saving by not maintaining those nuclear weapons, the billions of pounds that we will be saving by not investing in more, I tell you what, it can transform the social services and the hospital services of the country. I'm telling you this, comrades, nothing will ever be the same in Wales or Britain, irrespective of how the vote goes next week. Now, comrades and friends, I've been told, I showed him, he said, what do you want to say, Ray? I said, I got 2 full scarf pages. You've got 5 minutes, he said. You've got 5 minutes and no more. So I've got to keep that 5 minutes. But can I tell you this finally, comrades? Can I just say this to you? There's a wonderful song you'll be hearing a few minutes ago. You've just heard one from David Ewan. We're still here. Despite the Romans, despite the Normans, despite the Anglo-Saxon, despite the Tories, we're still here, and our culture and our language and all things Welsh are still flourishing, thank goodness. And I tell you this, comrades, the song that inspired me and inspired others, Flower of Scotland. The first verse goes something like this. Oh, Flower of Scotland, when will we see your likes again, who fought and died for your hill and your glen? Well, we've got that there now. We've got it there. You've got it with Jamie with his passionate speech and the thousands like him up in Scotland. They're there now, and I tell you this, the last verse is even more important to me. Those days are past now, and in the past they must remain. For we can be a nation again. So Scotland, go for it. Scotland, be a nation again. Scotland, grab your independence. Be a beacon of light for the rest of the world. Cymru Reid, Alban Reid.
Wow. Top that. Iawn te. Beth sydd gyda ni nesaf, mae gyda ni lythyron sydd wedi cael ei ysgrifennu gan bobl yn yr Alban i ddarllen i chi heddi. There are letters to be read out now from people in Scotland who've heard about today's event in Cardiff. They will be read out by Harriet and Armon, both of which have been living in Scotland. I think Harriet's still living in Scotland, so have first-hand experience of what life is there with the Yes campaign, the No campaign. So I'd like to invite the both of them up if possible, and they will read out a few letters of support from Scotland to us today.
The first letter we have is from Andrew Redmond from the National Collective, who unfortunately couldn't make it down today. He was supposed to speak, so he sent us this letter to be read out in his place. The National Collective is a cultural campaign for independence, involving a whole range of creative people, artists, writers, poets, and musicians. We believe the question of independence is fundamentally a question of the imagination. If you can imagine a better society, then you have the power to build a better society. The imagination is always the key, always the catalyst for change, for social empowerment. And that is why arts and culture are so important in movements like this. Independence will be good for Scotland, but it will also be good for other parts of these islands, because we can show that an alternate way of doing things is possible. We can shake up the system and lead by our actions. Voting no doesn't change anything for anybody. It just tells Westminster that we are unwilling to fight and that they can do whatever they want to us. Today's rally in Cardiff is a beautiful, selfless gesture. I wish I could be there to see it. The rally today for Scotland, but let me say something about Wales. I believe in Wales. The people of Wales have the same ability to govern themselves as any other human being on this planet. So let the message go out to the world. Wales is on a journey of its own, and it doesn't need to be in the shadow of the Scottish question. Wales can build its own unique movement for independence, make it a Welsh movement with its own Welsh character and sentiment, its own colours. The potential for Wales is incredibly exciting, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds in the coming years. Let us, like us, you have incredible times ahead of you. So imagine victory. Imagine Scotland and Wales reinvigorated, revitalised, new and confident and self-assured. Imagine telling future generations we won against all the powers of the state and the media because we chose to have a little faith in ourselves. The story alone is worth fighting. I will end with a quote from Cesar Chavez. Once social change begins, it cannot be reversed. You cannot uneducate the person who has learned to read. You cannot humiliate the person who feels pride. You cannot oppress the people who are not afraid anymore. We have seen the future, and the future is ours.
Diolch yn fawr iawn, Jermon. Dwi'n mynd I wahodd nesaf Robin Farrar o Gymdeithas yr Iaith Gymraeg. Our next speaker is Robin from Gymdeithas yr Iaith, the Welsh Language Society. I'd like to welcome him to this event today. Robin, dyr yma.
Diolch yn fawr, Iestyn, a diolch am wahoddiad I siarad ar ran Cymdeithas yr Iaith Gymraeg. Da ni yn fudiad sydd yn sefyll dros yr iaith Gymraeg a dros cymunedau Cymru, ond da ni yn credu nad ydy hynny'n frwydr allan ni ennill mewn gwlagtod. Da ni'n falch iawn o gyd sefyll heddiw efo pobl yn yr Alban. A dwi'n credu hefyd bod yr iaith Gymraeg yn wynebu'r un gelyn y mae'r ymgyrch annibyniaeth yn yr Alban wedi I wynebu. A nid gweddillion yr ymerodraeth Brydeinig ydy'r gelyn yna. Nid unigolion fel Cameron neu hyd yn oed fel Carwyn Jones ydy'r gelyn. Apathy yw'r gelyn. A mae'r gelyn yna'n llawer iawn mwy peryglus am bod o fewn pob un ohono ni hefyd. Yr apathy yna sydd yn deud mai dim ond cael digon o bres sydd yn bwysig. Yr apathy sydd yn deud na ddylen ni boeni am ddyfodol yr iaith Gymraeg, na ddylen ni boeni am newid hinsawdd, na ddylen ni boeni am hawl gwledydd I reoli hunan yn neud I penderfyniadau I hunan. Apathy felly ydy'r gelyn. Ond mae pobl yr Alban dros yr wythnosau a'r misoedd diwetha wedi mynd i'r afal ag apathy. Maen nhw wedi mynd allan ar lawr y gwlad wedi siarad efo'i gilydd a dros I gilydd ar eu termau hunan ac yn fanna mae yna siawns am wir annibyniaeth. A mae rhywbeth tebyg iawn yn digwydd yn Catalonia hefyd ar hyn o bryd. A mae'n bwysig bod ni yng Nghymru yn fan hyn yn dysgu nid yn unig o'r ffaith bod yr Alban ar y ffordd I annibyniaeth a bod Catalonia gobeithio ar y ffordd i'r annibyniaeth, ond bod ni'n ddysgu o sut mae'r gwledydd hynny yn neud hynny. Dwi ddim yn credu, fel mae rhai bobl yn deud, bod yr iaith Gymraeg yn rwystyr ar lwybr Cymru I annibyniaeth. Nid rwystyr. Cyfle yw'r iaith Gymraeg. I ni dechrau mudiad fan hyn yng Nghymru sydd at gwir annibyniaeth. Mae cyfle I ni ddangos bod ni'n drech nid yn unig dros yr apathy sydd yn gadael i'r iaith Gymraeg dirywio, ond bod annibyniaeth yn meddwl rhywbeth llawer mwy na ffiniau ar fab. Bod annibyniaeth yn rhywbeth i'r galon ac i'r dafod hefyd ac yn rhywbeth I bywyd pob un ohono ni. Mae gwledydd bychain y byd yn edrych tuag at yr Alban ar hyn o bryd. Mae llefydd fel Kurdistan yn edrych tuag at yr Alban am lwybr o wlad yn sefyll dros ei hun a wneud I penderfyniadau ei hunan. Ond y cwestiwn I ni yng Nghymru ydy, ydyn ni yn mynd I disgwyl, ydyn ni'n mynd I ddilyn, ydyn ni'n mynd I weld beth sy'n mynd I digwydd yn llawer rhy bwyllog? Neu ydyn ni'n mynd I dangos y ffordd, nid yn unig I wledydd bychain, ond I holl ieithoedd bychain y byd. Nid o'r Alban yn anffodus y dawr arweiniad yn fanna. Mae'r cyfle gyda ni yng Nghymru I ddangos bod modd goresgyn yr apathy yna, bod modd I iaith sydd wedi cael ei gormesu a'i greu yn lleiafrifol yn gallu tyfu ac yn gallu cael ei adfer fel iaith gwlad. Achos go iawn, dwi ddim yn credu bod y Gymraeg yn iaith leiafrifol yng Nghymru. Dwi'n credu mewn Cymru annibynnol oherwydd bod y Gymraeg yn berchen I bob un ohono ni yma. Nid anorfod ydy'r ffaith bod y mwyafrif o bobl yng Nghymru wedi cael ei amddifadu o'r iaith. Canlyniad ydy hynny o ormes y gorffennol ac o methiant polisi llwyr i Cafwyn Jones yma'n un o pobl yn y presennol. Nid yn ormod. Ac swn i'n galw ar pob un o'na chi sydd yn cytuno efo fi felly, nid yr unig i mynd o'r rali yma efo neges clir, ond hefyd i dod i siarad efo ni, i ddod i rali Cymdeithas yr Iaith ym Mhwllheli, lle fyddwn ni mewn ardal lle mae'r Gymraeg dal yn iaith pob dydd, gweitha pawb a phopeth. Mi fyddwn ni yn fanna yn herio y drefn cynllunio, trefn sydd wedi datganoli fan hyn, ond yn anffodus sydd dal yn dilyn yr hen egwyddorion o Loegr, yn dal yn dilyn yr egwyddor, mae'r farchnad sydd yn bwysig a nid pobl. Mae yna broblem real iawn ym Mhen Llŷn, posibilrwydd real iawn o gor-ddatblygu sydd yn fygythiad i'r iaith Gymraeg, a dwi'n galw ar bawb i ddod efo ni ac i gefnogi ni yn y frwydr yna. Ond, mae heddiw yma i wneud efo'r Alban felly, a fel o'n i'n dweud, dwi'n falch iawn o gyd-sefyll efo cyd-ymgyrchwyr yn yr Alban. Ond dwi'n meddwl bod o'n bwysig iawn hefyd bod ni ddim yma yng Nghymru jyst yn eistedd nôl ac yn disgwyl i weld beth sy'n digwydd mewn wledydd eraill. Os da ni'n disgwyl, y gorau fedrith digwydd ni, ydy bod ni'n datgysylltu ar derma y toriaid, bod ni'n datgysylltu o Loegr ar derma Lloegr. Rhaid i ni heb oedi dechrau gweithio tuag at gwir annibyniaeth. Annibyniaeth nid yn unig o weddillion yr ymerodraeth Brydeinig, ond annibyniaeth sydd yn meddwl bod ni'n meddwl dros yn hunan, bod ni'n meddwl yn greadigol am y gwlad yn hunan, fel y cyfaill o blaen yn dweud. Bod ni'n gallu dychmygu bod ni yn well, bod gen ni gwell pethau i wneud na gwahodd neitro fan hyn ato ni. Bod ni'n gallu credu mewn annibyniaeth sydd yn sefyll dros cyfartaledd economaidd i bobl, sydd yn sefyll dros heddwch a dros yr ymgylchedd dros yr iaith Gymraeg hefyd. Felly, gron iawn ddigon gen i felly dwi'n credu, ond hoffwn i ddeud ia, nid yn unig dros yr Alban heddiw, ond ia i'r Gymraeg hefyd, ac ia dros gwir annibyniaeth i bobl ac i gymunedau. Diolch yn fawr.
I'd like to remind you all again of the advantages of social media. We've got a Twitter site and a Facebook page and a blog site as well. So try and visit those, get in touch with us if you can. Right there, moving along swiftly, we've got Harriet, who's a political student in university, and we've got, University of Edinburgh, and Armand as well, to read out some more short messages from Scotland. Felly, give them a round of applause, please. Thank you.
I've got a couple of two quick messages. One from Blair Jenkins, the Chief Executive of Yes Scotland. Friends, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your support and solidarity. Westminster has tried and failed to paint a picture of an isolated, independent Scotland. Your solidarity shows that it is Westminster that is isolated and out of touch. Our close friendship and shared identity run far deeper than the fact that we share a centralised, remote Westminster Parliament. And that friendship and shared identity will prosper anew after Scottish independence. Our goal is a fairer and more prosperous independent country that uses our wealth to deliver real gains for all, not just the lucky few. We believe that in an independent Scotland, public services such as the NHS will be cheap.
What has Scotland got to lose? Well, I started making a list, but I realised I only have 5 minutes to speak. This is as far as I got. What has Scotland got to lose? Exploitation, an outdated economic model, centralisation, inequality, Westminster mismanagement, Trident. My goodness, they're really going to miss that, aren't they? I've been listening to all these debates quite closely, and some people want to make this about money. This is not about money. This is about independence from inequality, Westminster misrule, nuclear weapons. It's about independence, it's not about money. And it's not about the 1% either. Nobody needs those. So, let's see what it is about. It's about building a better country, a fairer country, a more democratic country, free from the war machines and the despicable people who make millions from them. It's about freedom from corruption, freedom from complacency, freedom from the condescension with which London treats the rest of the UK. And they're wheeling out what they think are the big guns. People like Deutsche Bank, the supermarkets, the 1%. We don't need them, we never asked for them, and Scotland will manage very nicely without all of them. And there's more than that. I'm a Green, I'm a very proud Green, and Scotland already has 65% of electricity coming from clean renewable energy. 65%! And they are well on course for 100% by 2020. That is a wonderful, sound economic footing on which to build your future. Wales, by contrast, with these people here, well, there are notable exceptions, of course, but if we've got 18%, it would be really saying something. They're not interested. All we get in Wales is hanging on to the old business models, the old economic models, the old fossil fuel companies and the fortunes and millions that are made by those very few people at the top. We have our own energy. In fact, we have 2 times the amount of renewable energy we could ever use. We should be exporting. We should have that sound economic footing. Greens everywhere. Go for it, Scotland. Go for it. Let's get rid of this neoliberal consensus, which is mismanaging our money supplies, our manufacturing, our whole lives. Let's give it a poke in the eye and vote yes. Welsh Greens stand tall with Scottish Greens. Grasp your freedom. Give them what they deserve. Your ability to work, live, and conduct your lives as an independent Scotland. Yes!
Diolch yn fawr, Pidwar. Thank you very much, Pidwar. Right, not long to go before we finish. Nesaf hoffwn ni gyflwyno Caryl Parry-Jones I ganu cam fach i ni. Ar ôl hynny, dim ond 3 siaradwr arall sydd gyda ni, gan gynnwys Lian Wood sy'n newydd fod nôl o'r Alban. Felly, gallwch chi roi croeso cynnes iawn i Caryl, os gwelwch yn dda.
am ddangos y ffordd ac i agor y drws mwyn iddi hi a ni ddychwelyd i'n cyflwr naturiol o fod yn wledydd annibynnol. And I'd also like to thank the Panic Initiative of the No campaign for the best comedy I've seen in years this past week. So I'm going to dwy gan I chi. The first song I'm going to sing is this campaign's anthem by the Proclaimers. Please join in if you feel the urge, and I'm sure you do. I can tell the meaning of a word like serene. I got some old grades when I was 16. I can tell the difference between margarine and butter. I can say Saskatchewan without starting to stutter, but I can't understand why we let someone else rule our land, cap in hand. I can get a broken jaw from being in a fight. I know it's evening when day turns to night. I can understand why strong lives so lowly. They could save a lot of points by signing the hips goalie, but I can't understand why we let someone else rule our land, cap in hand. We fight when they ask us, we boast, then we carve, we beg for a piece of what's already ours. La 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 la, cap in hand. Once I thought I could make God right, so I said I was in his lost tribe. Getting handouts can be so frustrating. Getting lines and there's 5 million waiting, but I can't understand why you let someone else rule your land, cap in hand. And I can't understand why we let someone else rule our land, cap in hand, cap in hand, cap in hand, cap in hand. And I can't understand why we let someone else rule our land, cap in hand. Wow. Sy'n ni'n licio canu can wan, sgwennodd yn had i nôl yn 1969, oedd yn adeg tyngedfynol arall, os ydych chi'n cofio, mae rai o'ch chi, dwi'n siŵr, yn cofio'r adeg ofnadwy yna. Ond mae wedi troi yn dipyn bach o anthem. Unwaith eto, os ydych chi yn ei gwybod hi, ymunwch efo fi, os ydych chi'n hoffi ac yn dymuno gwneud hynny. A gobeithio y gallai ddod nôl i'r union fan yma pan fyddwn ni yn ymgyrchu pan dawn dydd ni hefyd. Mi henw hi ydi o Gymru. Ti yw'r enwad i mi, o fy ngweliad. Ti sy'n rhoi i'n harmoni. Ti yw'n wyneb
Carol Parry-Jones. Iawn, dyn ni'n tyfu tuag at y diwedd, dim ond ychydig o siaradwyr sydd yn ôl bellach. Hoffwn i wahodd i Annych y Gynulleidfa, Paul Wong. Mae Paul wedi dod o'r holl ffordd o gogledd ddwyrain Cymru, mae fe'n ymgyrchydd dros achosion Cymreig ar draws y wlad. Our next speaker is Paul Wong. He's come down from North East Wales. He's a campaigner for Welsh civil rights, and we're very, very lucky to have him with us today. Could you give him a round of applause, please? Thank you.
Ac hefyd, i dechrau sgwrs dros yr anonymiaeth yn Nghymru. Right, well, I think, again, some of the things that have been said here today are truly, to me, touching, fantastic. Jamie, your message is really fantastic. Diolch yn fawr iawn. We've heard today how in Scotland that the Yes campaign have engaged with people, how they've upped the democratic process in Scotland and further afield in Scotland, the way that they've raised aspirations in Scotland. To me, already they have achieved so much, and we all together should say, llong cyfardiadau i'r Alban. I mean, basically, we're talking about something really, really arbennig o dda. They have empowered the nation of Scotland. To me, in this day and age, under the pressures that we have in Nghymru a dros y byd, we all need empowering. We all need inspiration. And diolch o'r galon i'r Yes campaign yn yr Alban, y Llywodraeth Alban, for the inspiration that they've given us all. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Now I must say, I'm no politician or expert in economics or anything like that. I'm not very good with microphones either. But I live in a community that I love. I live in a country that I love. And I've seen during my short lifetime, maybe not that short, but short lifetime, lots of things happening that I don't like. Lots of things that go against the grain of what my character as a local person growing up in the community that I grew up, it goes against the grain of how we should be living. Independence, what does it mean? Well, we've heard dros the months and the last years, if people have been interested, but especially over the last weeks, there's a lot of reasons that make independence a natural state for any nation. What are those? We've heard about them, you know. We've heard about the democratic deficit in Scotland, where they never get the government that they vote for. Well, actually, we feel a very similar thing, I'm sure you'll all agree, in Wales as well. But this very, very simple view that I'm going to put forward, you see, as I said, I'm no expert. And of course, what I believe are simple situations get complicated and they get difficult to understand. And I suppose here today, it's very important that we don't just get too celebratory and we think the job's not finished yet. There are those people still undecided, I hear. A lot of people still undecided. A lot of people voted no. To me, the ones that have said they voted no, they're still undecided. We must make them understand. Now, I believe that this question of the democratic deficit is very simple to understand. It's self-evident. The economic arguments, again, these get sort of mixed up layer and layer and layer of drivel. But I prefer to look at things in a simple way. The basic principle of the matter. There are resources in Scotland, as there are in Wales. Lots of resources. What is the best? To keep those resources for yourself or give them away? It's a simple question, really. The human resources that are available to Scotland and Wales, incredible character, resilience and inventiveness, creativity within our nations. But we can't access that because we haven't got the powers. We haven't got the economic levers to be able to access that human resource that we've got either. These aren't difficult concepts to understand, really. In fact, these are self-evident. Social justice, again, another reason why the message of independence in Scotland is flying. Again, isn't this self-evident? Does anybody want the bedroom tax?
No!
Did anybody want poll tax? No. Does anybody want nuclear weapons, etc., etc.? That's social justice. The point that in my community and communities all over Wales, that we're starved of opportunity. Starved of opportunity. Lle mae'r iaith Cymraeg yn diflannu, mae yn diflannu yn y fro Cymraeg. Pam? Achos does na ddim cyfleoedd I bobl leol. Dyn nhw ddim medru a fforddi I byw yn y cymuned yn hunain. And this is the truth. So there are many simple, clear-cut, self-evident reasons why independence is a natural state for anybody. And I would like to say a message to all those in Scotland that are thinking of voting no, or who haven't made up their minds yet. Please, please consider those simple views on those really far-reaching concepts that all link together to make life better, fairer, and more prosperous. Now, of course, today the main emphasis of what I'm talking about is Scotland and Cymru. But these ideas go across the board, across the United Kingdom and across the world. We've heard earlier on Jamie talking, something that I thought was great. He was talking about all the new friends that he's met during this journey. That's what life's about, to me. Now, as I said, I don't really know too much about politics and economies and that sort of thing, but what I do know a lot about is fear and the effects of fear. I know a lot about dependencies. I know for sure that the other side of independence is dependency. And I know that dependency breeds fear. And I know the fear makes people to take these choices. The most important aspect of independence is independent thought. Now, do you choose to side with Westminster? This is what you're choosing if you say no. You're choosing to support Westminster. A few months ago, before this campaign really got off the ground and you knew about it, you were probably hating Westminster, saying they're corrupt, aggrieved at the expenses scandals, the wars, and so on. What's changed? Fear's got to you. Don't let it get a grip. Right, diolch yn fawr iawn am gwrando I mi, ac just one little word extra before I finish. I must announce that we have actually formed Chinese CYMRU for yes. So if there's anybody out there, we've got 2 members so far. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Diolch yn fawr iawn, Paul. Right there, nesaf, we have a former Lib Dem parliamentary candidate from which I've heard she's actually in Plaid Cymru now. But anyway, result. Anyway, I would like to invite Amy Kitcher up to the podium. Where is she? Hi Amy, how are you? Amy, can you give a word?
I'm a bit short. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me here to speak today. I know that I was invited because when you sent the invitation I was a Lib Dem. But I feel I've been on a journey just as Scotland has been on a journey. And I've watched practically every single day what's been happening in Scotland, and it really piqued my interest about September last year. And I don't think there's a day where I haven't read about it in the newspaper or on BBC website or more recently on all the various Independence Pro social media channels. And I was so inspired by the grassroots campaign that has really sprung up in Scotland that I wanted to go and do my little bit. So this week I spent 3 days in Scotland and it was absolutely fantastic. So the people who spoke before me have covered most of the things I wanted to say far more eloquently than I did. So I'll tell you some of the conversations that I had with people on the doorstep this week and the things that people in Scotland said to me. So we were canvassing with people who hadn't yet made up their mind. So these are the undecideds, still 7 days to go and they didn't know how they were going to vote. We had little booklets to give them with the information that they wouldn't be reading in the English-centric press. And people's big reaction was that they were frightened. They'd heard how their mortgages were going to go up, how the cost of living, their food, their energy bills, they were all going to go up, how jobs were going to be lost. But still, that message hadn't made them say they were going to vote no. They were still undecided. So we were chatting on the doorstep, and I said, what's the thing, what's holding you back? Why can't you come over to yes? And they said, oh, we're just not quite there yet. I said, don't you think Scotland would be better as an independent country? Most people said yes. Most people who were still undecided believed in their heart that Scotland would be better as an independent country. But there was just a little bit of fear that was holding them back. I hope by Thursday, when people have to go and cast their ballots, that they haven't been swayed by the onslaught of negative press that's coming from the London newspapers. And I'm optimistic that they won't. The campaign offices that we collected our leaflets from, people were walking in off the street saying, can I have 50 leaflets to do my street? Can I have some posters? Cars were stopping in the street and taking things off us. This is a real groundswell campaign that's come from the people of Scotland. By contrast, the Better Together campaign are having to bus people up from London and pay them £25 a day to give the Better Together message. I don't think the people of Scotland, in my heart, I don't think they will believe the negativity of the Better Together campaign. The conversations that they were having with us, that they're having amongst themselves, on the street, in the shops, in the cafe, with Scottish people who every day, more people are coming to the Yes campaign and less people are going to the No campaign. like those undecided people who maybe 2 weeks ago, 5 days ago, 2 days ago, they still hadn't made up their minds. They're slowly coming over to being able to believe in the thing that they've wished for a long time. They're overcoming their fear. They're coming over to hope. And that's very much a journey that I've been on. And I'm very glad to say that the inspiration that I've gotten from Scotland, I too believe now that this is the time to start our national conversation in Wales. Let's have the debate. I want to talk with my neighbours, with people in the shop, with people in the cafes. I want to take the message that actually Wales can do much, much better than it's doing right now. We can deliver things that are being delivered in Scotland with their government, with more powers. We can make education free for Welsh students if we want to, because that power should rest with us. In Scotland, they only get the government that they vote for in 18 of every 44 years. And that's just not fair. And if it's not fair for Scotland, it's not fair for Wales. So I believe that people should get the government that they vote for, and that government should deliver on the priorities that it said it should. So I'm going to be campaigning not only in Scotland, I'm going to be on the phones, but here in Wales too, for a government that delivers what it promises it will deliver, and delivers a debate on the best possible future for our country, Wales. Thank you.
Right. Dwi'n nabod, does dim lot i fi. I'd like to invite Harriet and Armon back just to read a few more messages and then we'll go to the end.
I promised to keep this short. I've been told I have to anyway. So, I've spent the last 2 years in Edinburgh as a student, and the level of political engagement has been absolutely incredible and extremely inspiring. Even in the last month, people's attitudes have changed so vastly. If I walk through Marchmont, my student area, yes signs in all the windows in all the local shops, etc., etc. And it's watching democracy in action. From enthusiastic taxi drivers to conversations with people in pubs, in clubs, in cafes and in restaurants. You'll hear conversations all throughout the day with people exchanging views vibrantly. Everyone is aware of politics and is inescapable. Where else do we see levels of engagement like that? The Guardian reported yesterday that 97% of people in Scotland are now registered to vote. I mean, how incredible is that? But why we're here today is that we, just like Scotland, need to question which governments we give legitimacy to. We need to ask, who does our government work for and what interests do they uphold? This is where we need a bit of audience participation. So I want to ask you all, do you want to elect a government that only seeks to look after the rich? No. Do you want to elect a government that takes you into illegal wars? No. Do you want to elect a government that gives billionaires a tax cut and then cuts welfare and benefits for the sick and the disabled and the poor? Do you want a government to raise tuition fees of your children and slowly pushes the poor out of education? No. Good. Because we mustn't just expect a similar devolution package for Wales. I mean, this is the beginning of a battle to put the power back in the hands of you and I, rather than a group of wealthy, white, overprivileged men sitting in Westminster. We've seen the power of popular politics, and this terrifies the elites, and we won't forget. We are part of a new story. For as long as I can remember, the United Kingdom has told itself a grand and bloody story about ruling the waves, vanquishing foes, and beating the world. The power of kings, queens, and landowners dominate our history and our story of ourselves. In Scotland, the story is starting again. Millions of people are talking amongst each other, ignoring the lies of the mainstream media and the Westminster parties. A democratic renewal, something modest, something based on all of us. And the story continues here in Wales. Diolch yn fawr, thank you.
Gobeithio neb yn mynd I meindio a dwi'n mynd I siarad yn Saesneg gan bod ni'n rhedeg bach gormod. I'm going to speak in English because we've gone a little bit over time. As you can see, I've had to cut quite a bit. First, apologies for everybody in Scotland who sent messages that we were going to read out today, but because of time, we haven't been able to, but they will be on our blog, on our website, and on our social media. But particularly, I want to apologise to Rob, Maxine, and Karen. We also have a very big good luck card for Scotland that all of you, if you could, sign. It's just near the tables there, and we're hopefully going to get it up in time for their historic vote on Thursday. Although I'm Welsh, I had the privilege of living, studying and working in Scotland for 10 years, where I met and worked with some amazing and passionate, fantastic people. In fact, I was living in Scotland during the referendum vote for the creation of the Scottish Parliament back in 1997, where I voted for the new powers that Scotland needed. It is a fundamental human right that all people have the right to self-determination, to have the opportunity and the power to change their own communities and to build a positive future for everyone. Providing the opportunities they need through true democratic action to govern their own lives and develop a form of government that is truly accountable, transparent and participatory, involving everyone on an equal basis. And so my message to the people of Scotland is simple. These opportunities don't come along very often, and I would urge all Scots to look past the media bias, to look at the facts, to look at the arguments, and hopefully vote the same way as millions of their fellow countrymen and women and vote yes. Yes to a strong economic future, and yes to a new and vibrant Scotland. Go for it, Scotland! And now, in siaradwr ola, and now for our final speaker. So I'd like to introduce to you the leader of Pride Cymru, Leanne Wood.
Caerdydd, mae'n braf I weld chi. Good afternoon, Scotland. It's great to be here for you too. Mae rhywbeth yn symud yn yr Alban. Something is moving in Scotland, and friends, it's something big. Scotland is not being reflected to those of us outside. There has been a rebirth of democracy. People taking an interest in a way that I have never experienced before. Excitement and optimism are taking on the forces of fear and hopelessness. None to know the outcome of the result next Thursday, although I have to tell you, I have a very good feeling about it. But whatever the outcome, democracy, mass participation, and the ditching of apathy has already taken place. We all understand what is at stake. On the 18th of September, the people of Scotland will be sovereign. It is up to them to decide on that day whether they want to hold on to that sovereignty for every other day after next Thursday. Grab with both hands the opportunities that are offered from self-rule, or will they renew the mandate of Westminster? It is, of course, a matter for the Scots to decide, but that doesn't mean that we cannot stand in solidarity and in support of their right to self-determination. On all points, Scotland has got what it takes to be a successful country. And I'm pretty sure that I'm right when I also say that Wales has also got what it takes to be a successful country. Are best placed to make decisions about their future is the same principle that can be applied to Wales too. Now, the No campaign call it separation. Far from being an act of separation, an independent Scotland would amount to Scotland joining the world community as a partner, as a friend, with its own voice to forge its own relations, not in competition, but in collaboration, in cooperation. The No campaign in Scotland, or as they've been coined, Team Westminster, have tried to portray this most exciting time in politics as a threat, as something to fear. Their entire campaign has been one of scaremongering. Contrast that with the Yes campaign's message of hope, of presenting a vision where politics is different and in the hands of the people. The Union has stood in the way of a partnership of equals on these islands. Instead, it has presided over the biggest gap in all measures between the London city-state and the rest of us. But there's a chance for all of that to change now. Mae llawer yn gofyn, be am Gymru? Mae hi'n hanfodol fod Cymru ddim yn aros am gynnig o hunan-lywodraeth, ond i fyny grym dros ein dyfodol ni. Mae gan yr Alban cyfle o dyfodol gwell oherwydd mae hi wedi mynnu'r cyfle ei hunan. Gallwn ni ddim rhoi ein ffydd mewn San Steffan i weithredu lles Cymru. Rhaid i ni ddod at ein gilydd fel cenedl hyderus a gwneud hynny dros ein hunan. Events in Scotland provide great opportunities for us here in Wales too. Although this is Scotland's moment, Scotland's great opportunity, they have shown us what can happen when a country comes together in optimism and in hope. When people come together with determination, self-belief and confidence to build a better nation, a better society. Gyfeillion, friends, I've no doubt that our time will come. Just this week, Wednesday evening in fact, I stood on this very spot with a group of people who showed what can be achieved with self-belief, determination and confidence. Team Wales won an unprecedented 35 medals for Wales in the Commonwealth Games, despite being told that they couldn't, because they had ambition, because they had self-belief and because they had confidence. We came here to say diolch yn fawr, thank you very much for all that you've done for our country. But it left me thinking, if our sports team can achieve that success against all of the odds, then our country can too. Today, as citizens of Wales, we gather to send our warmest wishes and our solidarity to the people of Scotland. We stand with them during this historic moment while they take this momentous decision. From the capital city of Wales, o'r prif dinas Cymru, we say, go for it, Scotland!
Diolch yn fawr iawn, Bendigedig. Wel, dyma ni wedi dod I ddiwedd y dydd, a hoffwn I ddiolch I chi gyd am droi lan heddi. Thank you all for coming here today to support us. And what happens next? What happens next is we all get involved. Right. I gloi heddi, dwi'n mynd I wahodd Caryl unwaith eto a Gwilym I gyd ganu'r anthem genedlaethol. Remember, we've been live feeding the whole event today, so keep an eye out for all the photographs and everything you find on Twitter. Use modern media to actually get the message out there. Think of all the people you have in your families that are not present here today. Just share this information with them. Right there. Pobl yr Alban, people of Scotland. Diolch I chi am eich ysbrydoliaeth. Scotland, in the words of a friend of mine, Wales is watching, wishing you well. Keep a seat for us at the international stage by your side. Right there. Caryl a Gwilym. Diolch yn fawr iawn I chi.
Je crois pawb yn canu, eisiau clywed nhw, eisiau'r Alban clywed yn canu.